Today is April 25th of 24, and I'm in the woods back behind my house because it's pretty wild back here. So I wanted to make a video about it. First off, I don't know what this tree is right here, but it looks really wild. It looks like something from the rainforest. It's evergreen. It's not a magnolia. I don't know what it is. Little tree. And then over here there's a American holly, Ilex. I didn't really have an opinion on holly until I moved here, and now I really like it. It's a broadleaf evergreen. It's got really cool leaves. It's got bright red berries in the wintertime. So when I first moved here last fall, my neighbors told me about this place back here, and I said, who owns it? And they said, well, nobody owns it. And I'm like, well, I don't think that's possible. Someone's got to own it. But a few neighbors come back here, and no one knows or cares or anything. So I guess I'll just come back here until someone says I can't. But this is the buffer between two different subdivisions, and there's some like Wet Weather Creek back here, so they couldn't build or develop or anything. We're on a little trail I made through the woods, and unless you know where to look for the keyhole, I tried to keep it as minimal as possible so you could walk right past it and not even know that there's a trail here. But a lot of this is pretty impenetrable unless you know where to look for the little keyhole. And then this area right here, this is so cool. I feel like I'm in the jungle right now, even though that's all grapevine and there's nothing exotic about it. It just looks totally wild to me. So I dig that a lot. And then as we get down to this little stream, there's a lot of interesting flora to look at. So let's talk about a couple of the native plants. There's a bunch of, I'm pretty sure it's poison ivy down here. And when I was a kid, I was not allergic to poison ivy. I used to go to youth camp with my church, and the counselors would say, that's poison ivy, don't touch it. And I would say, cool, and I'd pick it up and play with it like I didn't know. And they'd be like, that's poison ivy. And I'm like, yeah, I know, I'm not allergic to it. I was a show off, I guess. I need to find out if I'm still not allergic to it. I know you can develop that allergy later in life. So first up, this is, I believe, Asplenium plataneuron. There's two different aspleniums that look really similar here, and Trichomanes is the other one, but I think this one's plataneuron. And it grows all over the place down here. And then here is, that's got to be poison ivy, right? There's a little bit of variation in poison ivy. It's supposed to have, it's 3 leaves, and it's supposed to have a little lobe that you can define on one side. And some of it down here has that distinct lobe, some of it does not. So I'm pretty sure that's it, even though it doesn't appear very lobed. So I'm gonna just rub a little bit of that on me. And I'll leave it for like an hour and then wash it off, because the oil will stay on your skin, and then like if I rub up against my kids, they'll get it. You know, I don't know if they're allergic to poison ivy or not. So Creeping Virginia, this is all really small stuff, but I like Creeping Virginia too. It's a deciduous vine. I actually like poison ivy. I think it's a good looking vine. And then this is a wonderful vine. This is Smilax. There's several different species of Smilax. This one is rotundifolia. It's got great big fat leaves. This is abnormally big. They're not normally this big. Got some really nice thorn detail going on there. And the color of the growth there, it's normally like a very pure green. That brownish tinge, almost like skin color, that means it's new growth. So over here we've got Pteridium aquilinum. That's the bracken fern. I believe that is the most widespread fern of any fern species on the planet. Has the widest distribution. In the Pacific Northwest, I've got video of me walking underneath bracken ferns. They will get 6 feet tall, 7 feet tall. here on the East Coast, they all stay really small. Like these are less than 2 feet tall. So down here, this is not really quite a canebrake, but there's a whole bunch of Arundinaria tecta. That's our native bamboo. There's 3 different species of, there's more of that poison ivy. There's 3 different species of Arundinaria, and everything I have seen around here I believe to be tecta. And let's get into the Arundinaria a little bit. There's a good clump there to the left. Some of that is over 8 feet tall. It's taller than a 4x8 sheet of plywood if you stand it up. So let's see. I've transplanted a bunch of this stuff and I've had a decent margin of success. That's we'll look at that fern in just a second. Let me find some better specimens. Here we go. So this here we go. This is Lawrenceria areata. I've talked about this before. It looks like Onoclea sensibilis, but this one has alternating leaflets instead of opposite. And it's deciduous. It can take a little bit of frost, not much. But I came down here this winter after it had been 19 degrees. All of the Lawrenceria in the area had been dead for a month, and the ones right here on the water were still alive and green. So there's a little bit of a microclimate effect here. And then got to get to these Osmunda ferns. I'm not real smart. Oh goodness, that's pokey. That was a big Smilax vine that just got me. I think this is Osmunda. I believe we have 3 different species here, and I'm not good at differentiating them yet. I think this is either Claytoniana or the cinnamon fern. But the cinnamon fern and the royal fern, Regalis, they both have this little, I think these are sterile fronds. Or maybe these are sterile and those are fertile, I don't know. But pretty good looking fern. That's deciduous as well. So that's about it for interesting foliage. I've thought about bringing some Sable Minor and some Trachycarpus down here. I don't have a lot that I just want to kind of throw away and not utilize for a good purpose in my yard, but kind of have to debate the morality of that. Would it be okay to try to naturalize palms into a wild environment like this? Sable Minor is of course native to North Carolina, but not to this specific area. Ooh. Oh, what is the name of that plant? Oh no, that's not what I thought it was. Disregard. So I don't know, what do you think? Should I bring Sable Minor and Trachycarpus down here and try to naturalize them? Let me know.